Welcome, my friends, to Freedom Law School's Freedom Hour. I'm Peymon, the president of Freedom Law School. And in this presentation, I will talk about how major IRS workforce reduction of 2026, how it can be advantage to you, how it can save you money and free you of the IRS, and you get to keep your hard-earned money legally and safely. So first, before we go out to the presentation, go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, to free yourself of IRS deception. Without deception, it leads to fear. With the fear, they rob and enslave you. Be free of all that by going to freedomlawschool.org. Now, let's look at the news that came out in Yahoo Finance. IRS has 27% fewer workers this year. Yep. Well, let's look at this information a little bit more closely, okay? This came out Friday, March 13, 2026, okay? And it says that with 27% fewer IRS employees in 2026 than last year. Yeah. Delays in processing the expected 164 million returns could be on the horizon. Yes. 164 million 1040 income tax confession forms IRS expects to have. Okay? Now, we don't know exact number, but it hasn't happened yet. But there's more. Okay? So here's the bigger picture. Okay? The IRS started 2025 with 102,000 employees because of Biden. They gave extra funding to the IRS, and finished with about 74,000 because Trump laid off a lot of them and told them you can leave if you want to. We'll give you a good money if you leave right now. Okay? One of the good things that Trump did. Okay? The hardest hit departments were direct file, with an 88% staff reduction, and online services with 100% reduction. Okay, eliminated basically. Okay, so, but look at this. If you're a small business owner, if you're an independent contractor, there's extra good news for you, my friends. Small business self-employed department, which handles people like you, which helps small businesses and self-employed taxpayers understand their tax obligations to be good little slaves, was reduced by over 37%. That is over a third. Okay, so that's extra good because you self-employed independent contractors have no money stolen by your company owner out of your paycheck to force you to file a 1040 form to get some of that stolen money back, hopefully. You're free already. There's no reason for, if you're not an employee, for you just not stop filing income taxes, okay? It's extra dumb for self-employed not to stop filing income taxes, okay? Now, the other departments, of course, were affected. For example, taxpayer service departments, which help you understand and comply, be a slave, was reduced by 21%. Okay, information technology. Okay, yep, that runs things, which helps employees with IT services solutions, reduced by 25%. This is gonna keep IRS from becoming modern even more so. Okay, now the source of all this information is right here. National Taxpayer Advocate Annual Report to Congress of 2025 year. And, you know, here, for example, check this out. How much IRS cares about you? They don't care about you. Why should you care about them? Okay? The IRS does not accurately measure the quality of telephone service. Telephone service remains the primary method by which taxpayers contact the IRS to ask questions or resolve account problems. Taxpayers called the IRS over 100 million times last year. Despite the importance of this communication method, the IRS does not have adequate measures to assess whether taxpayers' needs are being met. And you all know these people on the phone, the IRS, are the lowest of the low intelligence levels, okay? And the computer system are a mess. No wonder they cannot help you, because you'll see the computer systems are computer shambles with the IRS, okay? So again, here's what they're saying, that they expect that 2026 they're going to have a 27% reduction in workforce. Over 1/4 of the people are gone. Okay, and again, this is where the IRS says that they receive about 160 million individual tax returns each year, approximately. Well, how about people that don't file 1040 income tax confession form, like me? I have not filed and paid income taxes for over 30 years, and openly teaching Americans like you to the same legally and safely. Here I am, been under criminal investigation by the IRS and other investigation by the IRS. They've never even tried to indict me to put me in prison, because they know I got the law, that I'm not required to file income tax, neither are you, the people of 50 states. So there's about 80 million non-filers. Yes, actually, that is IRS's best numbers. So how did I come up with this 80 million number? This is a source document. IRS, the real paper tiger exposed. This letter is from September 1998. This is the only copy available now. Okay, I remember seeing this letter first back in 1999, and I saved it. Okay, so they're telling this guy in Oregon, Mr. Abel, in paragraph 2, based on our 1996 tax filing program, we estimate there are approximately 63 million taxpayers who have not filed a tax return and initially would appear to have a legal requirement to file a 1040 income tax confession form. And this estimate is based on data available to the service, to the IRS, okay, on the individual master file. That's right. They got your W-2, the 1099 from employer. They got that 63 million number back in what? 1996 numbers. So 30 years later, approximately, the number is easily over 80 million, with more Americans, living now. Is there 80 million Americans in prison for not filing tax returns? Of course not. How about 80 million Americans having their bank account paycheck being levied by the IRS? Is that happening? No. It's a myth that if you don't file and pay income tax, you go to prison. The corrupt major media got you all wired up in your head, folks, okay? I'll show that to you in just a minute. Again, this is number of tax returns filed in America of all types, 271,000, but individual income tax returns, again, for 2023 and 24, 25, here. Look at 2024, it went down. It used to be 163 million numbers, and numbers down to 161 million, okay? So 25, it went up to 163 million again. Hey, maybe we're making a difference. The numbers are not going up. They're either going down or flat. Now, our message is getting out to American people to stop being a slave. Don't follow that 1040 confession form with the IRS, okay? Now, let's go here to this guy was part of the Doge on Elon Musk to cut government waste and corruption. He was called by the IRS to help them. Please, we need your help. Our system is so antiquated. We need your help. And he's a couple of more interesting findings he had with the IRS. Here we go.
That it is always missing and will always miss. And this is just I would describe it as an assumption that you have to make when you're thinking about designing any system, and it's kind of how we got here to begin with, which is there is no feedback loop when it's the government. It's kind of like why FDR was so opposed to public sector unions, is because in the private sector, you can unionize, but if you demand too much from the company, eventually the company will just die. But the government won't. You can just demand more. You can just work less. There is no counterbalance to the unions in the public sector. It just, you can just always say yes and nothing happens. The debt just gets larger. The amount of money just goes up. And there is no force that pushes against it. So the assumption that you always have to make, and why we end up with so many of these rules around personnel, around contracts, is that there is no natural incentive structure that prevents government from doing bad things.
I think it doesn't surprise me that this is the sort of challenge that people are facing. But also,
the first myth.
16%, only 16% of Americans trust the federal government. That was some Pew study from 2023, I think. Is that surprising to you, given that what you've seen from the inside? I don't know what trusting the government means, but you would trust somebody to look after your dog. Okay, so what are the things that they need? Well, they need to be driven. They need to be competent. They need to be conscientious and aware. They need to have the skill set that's required to be able to look after a dog. They need to not be malicious against dogs. So there's, the fraud, waste, abuse, like insider trade, all of those things. There's a number of different levels that you need to get through in order to be able to think, I trust this person. And not all of them are malicious, and not all of them are competence-based. But 16% of Americans trust the federal government. Doesn't seem surprising.
Okay. All right. Now, that was a warm-up. This one gets you more information about the IRS that he found that will shock you. Okay.
In the IRS. Like, the compliance team told me early on they really need help with.
Compliance team is the one that I want to make sure that you guys stay as slaves. That's why they audit you. Okay? Or in very rare cases, they come after non-filers. Remember, this is the one to keep you as a slave. They told him, we're in bad shape. We're losing control of the slaves. Come on down. Of all the places in the IRS that needs help the most is the ones that keep America's as good little sheep slaves of the Epstein gang. Right? So here's what happened.
Their software systems. They said we have at least 60 different systems that do not communicate with each other.
60 different computer systems that don't communicate with each other. It gets worse.
I assume this was an exaggeration. I spent 2 full days now at the compliance facility just watching how these systems work. They are, if anything, they're underestimating how many of these systems there are. In software, when you're building these types of systems, one of the just core principles is you want to have a single source of truth for any piece of data. This is foundational. Sometimes you might have 2 sources of truth if you're doing like a really messy migration, or you have some caching layer and you're kind of balancing those 2. But really, 1 is the goal. As of last count, which I think is last week, the IRS has about 108 competing sources of truth. I'm not talking about data sources. This is like the most complex Rube Goldberg I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Over 100 different places got different information numbers. See, this is not the IRS they have painted in your head as Godzilla that'll eat you alive. Okay? This is a myth of the media. That if you don't file 1040 tax forms, if you don't pay income tax, the Godzilla IRS will come after you. It's the Wizard of Oz, folks. I'm putting out the curtain for you to see what the IRS really is, because you, the American people, have been brainwashed for decades to manipulating your emotions and mind to be a slave. The media tells you, file your tax returns. Preachers tell you, file tax returns. File early. All these reasons, we're going to de-brainwash you, have you be free, brothers and sisters. You got to go to freedomlawschool.org. Step 3, realize the IRS operates on deception and bluff. See, this is what you see right here, folks. Look at this. It is impossible for 31 U.S. tax court judges to conduct tax trials for 80 million non-filers. That's right. See, this picture is from the website of the U.S. Tax Court. Okay? They have altogether about 30 judges. Okay? So 80 million non-filers, and as a non-filer, you have a right to challenge IRS's tax proposals, which they must mail you in a letter called the Notice of Deficiency by certified mail. You can go to tax court, get a full-blown trial before you owe the money any money whatsoever. Oh, your accountant, your CPA didn't tell you about that? Oh, that's because your accountant CPA is ignorant. He doesn't know the law. He doesn't know the Internal Revenue Code, folks. They don't teach that to him. All these 10,000 pages of gobbledygook, okay, of tissue thin. He just knows how to fill out tax forms to make you a slave of the IRS and make money off of you. Yes, you have the right to challenge the IRS. You owe them nothing until the process is completely done. Appeal it to the Court of Appeal. Then at collection time, you have a right to get a collection due process hearing opportunity letter. Then you can make payment arrangements, perhaps, at the collection due process hearing. Appeal that to tax court. Appeal that to Court of Appeal. This process could take 6 to 10 years or more, assuming they come after you, which for non-filers is extremely, extremely small. Why is that? Because there's too many of us. See, look at this picture here. Okay? This picture on the left shows a stadium with 75,000 capacity. Look at all the heads of people. You can't even see them in there. There are 80 million non-filers in America, best estimate based upon IRS's numbers. And to seat all innocent non-filers would take over 1,000 stadiums just like this one that you see. And to come after all 80 million non-filers in trial and tax court, each tax court judge would need to handle the equivalent of over 34 stadiums filled to capacity per year. Every year. Yeah, look at that. There's no way that they can come after, non-filers. That's what will leave you alone, which is why U.S. Treasury Inspector General, they had this report in May 2020 called High-Income Non-Filers Owing Billions of Dollars Are Not Being Worked by the IRS. And they were critical of the IRS, leaving people that make over $100,000 a year alone. Yes. And from that report, here's one interesting part of it, okay? You think the IRS is after you? They don't care about you. They don't even go after rich non-filers. Look at this. This will shock you, okay? I'm paraphrasing, but all the documentation, you can click on it and here, see it for yourself, okay? U.S. Treasury auditors gave IRS a list of 100 richest income tax non-filers who each would owe the IRS about $100 million. Not 100,000, $100 million each. And recommended to the IRS to go after these people for taxes. Now, you'd think IRS says, oh my gosh, sorry Treasury auditors, we screwed up, we missed these people. We'll go after them. We'll get a few agents. Yeah, we'll get maybe 10 agents, go after each of them after 10 of these guys and collect the easy, cool $10 billion from these super, super rich non-filers. Right? Well, to your surprise, guess what? The IRS is so broken, disorganized, lazy, and irresponsible that the IRS refused to commit to going after these extremely rich, high-income non-filers. That's right, they actually refused. They give middle finger to the Treasury auditors. They even try to give them lip service. They said, no, we don't have enough resources. What? You don't have enough people to go after 10 people to go after 10 of these super rich non-filers? No. That's how bad the IRS shape was back then, and it is far worse now with this reduction in force. The IRS has of over 25%, okay? So what you got to realize is this. You got to stop following those 1040 forms. Do not follow that 1040 form this year. You are putting a rope around your neck if you do that and handing it to the IRS to pull and hand you. That is why you're so afraid of the IRS. Because your accountant, your CPA, your tax attorney duped you year after year to put the rope around your neck and give the rope to the IRS to pull at will. Now, you don't believe me? Let's take a look at this a little bit closer. See, the fact is, you were deceived by your accountant attorney to sign the IRS 1040 income tax confession trap form. You put the noose around your neck. How? When you sign and file the 1040 income confession trap form, you state under oath that you owe the IRS money. That's right. You do it. And this is how you give the IRS the power to audit you, empty your bank account, steal your crypto, steal your property, and put you in prison. And here it is, folks. I'm going to dispel you of the myth of filing being a safe way to go. People think it's a safe way to file. Wrong. It's like getting the corona jab is a safe way to not get the corona. Wrong. People are dying of that corona jab, okay? You were deceived for all your life. Look at this, okay? Here's a 1040 income tax confession form, okay? And on the second page, sign here in big print, has this tiny small print next to it, which you never read. Your accountant never tells you, what is this small tiny print I'm signing? He says, just sign it. Just sign it. Just trust me. Oh yeah? You shouldn't have trusted him, because it says under penalties of perjury. And you say, okay, Peymon, I see that. What does it mean? It means throw me in prison if everything on this form is not true, correct, and complete. You mean the form that the accountant CPA filled out? He filled it out. He doesn't go to prison. I do. I'm not an expert. I don't know the anti-Robna code. All this 10,000 pages of minutia gobbledygook. That account CPA, he's supposed to know this stuff. That's why I pay him money, right? But no, he doesn't know that. He pretends to know this stuff and makes money off of your ignorance by telling you, I'll take care of you, like your doctor that tells you take the vaccine jab. Trust me by filling out that 1040 form. And let me make some money off of you while we at it. Would you please? Okay? So what's also worse is that you also claim that you owe the IRS money on line 37. Here it is. Amount that you owe is, you fill out this box on line 37. Yep. You fill out this box, you tell the IRS how much you owe them. Not the IRS coming after you. You did it to yourself. And by doing so, you also risk being charged with 3 separate tax crimes at the same time for each 1040 form you file. Here they are, 3 of them. You can go to prison for 5 years for one, 3 years for 2, and 1 year for the last one. Combined, you risk going to prison for up to 9 years for each year you file a 1040 or any other tax forms with it's really slavery, it's really Satan. Because Satan works deception, right? That's how I did it to you. So you got to stop filing those forms. And number one, you should know this. The law is on your side. If you go to freedomlawschool.org on our 7 steps to be free, I show the law. And I insist you, and I mean you, and you, every one of you, should follow the law and insist on the government. Our public servants, they must follow the law, but you got to know the law to force it upon them, right? To make sure they follow it. Well, based on the official legal websites of U.S. government, no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income taxes. 10-minute video as you drive around. Just watch it for yourself, okay? And I'm not going to go through it right now, but go to freedomlawschool.org and check it out. You have questions, call us at 813-444-4800. My people are here to answer your questions and guide you through the answers on our website available for you free of charge. Call us 813-444-4800. Okay? And bottom line is, as you drive around, you need to listen to these videos as you go places. Watch the road. When you go to work at lunch, dinner at home, play the video again. This time, watch it and verify everything. Everything you see in this video is the law from the government's own official legal websites. Law published by Congress, U.S. Treasury regulations, 1044 instructions, and U.S. Supreme Court decisions. That is it. Not some crazy cockamamie theory like revocation of election, U.S. citizen, national state citizen, or naming capital letters a straw man, or common law theory, gobbledygook. It's all nonsense. This is real stuff. That's work. That's how none of my students have ever gone to prison by following what I teach, since I've been doing this for a long time. Okay? You don't need to pay tribute to the beast. All you do is question your authority, write to Congressman, show me the law, and I'll pay income tax. They can never do that. They've never done that. These petitions have the law quoted, attached, and not once, no congressman has ever showed us wrong. Why? Because they don't represent you. They're here to defend the Epstein gang billionaires, both parties, right? So why pay these suckers when there's no law in the first place requiring you to file income tax, right? So, and this myth of the IRS, folks, will be blown away for you. You see the reality of the IRS, of their weakness, if you stop filing. And what you want to do is to go to our website, okay? And go here on the right. If you're an employee, go to Free Yourself from Tax Withholding. Click on that thing, okay? When you go there, bada boom, bada beam. Instructions and video, the paperwork, all there is there for you to stop income tax withholding from your paycheck. No longer will you have to now file a 1040 form to get some of your money back. Okay? It's there, easy for you to follow. Okay? And like I said, none of my students have gone to prison. None of them have their money taken from the IRS if they came to me clean and stayed with Freedom Law School. So all this is for free. Do it on your own, yes, for free at freedomlawschool.org, okay? Now, if you want to be 100% protected and you want to be like America's founding fathers, stand up for something. Not your life, not everything you have, no. Just stand up for something and be part of restoring America to freedom, the greatest country on earth. Take it back from Epstein billionaires that run this show. Well, in that case, what you can do is to join the Restore Freedom Plan. Yep. Contribute to the Restore Freedom Plan, okay? And you'll be 100% protected with a guarantee, okay? When you legally stop filing income taxes, as long as you remain a member of the Restore Freedom Plan, remember, that's the plan you stay on until we get rid of this corruption that's going on with the IRS. No more slavery for Americans, right? Until then, we take part in funding George Washington, Jefferson, and company, right? Freedom Law School will prevent the IRS from levying your money. We do all the work for you. We pay the attorneys. That's right. You don't pay nothing. Just all that stuff covered by us. You will not go to prison. If they ever take your money illegally, guess what? We will reimburse you in full. Whatever the IRS took from you, 10,000, 10 million, or more. It doesn't matter. Folks, this is the best thing. Better than sliced bread. Okay? So, and the last thing you want to do is love everybody you love. How? Well, by spreading the truth. Tell them on your social media, on texting, your email. Tell them about Freedom Law School, and we empower you to have empower with the law and the truth the American people to restore America and our families. We're the tool for you to ride America to freedom like Paul Revere. And these brochures, folks, are Restore Freedom brochure, along with this one, Fast Track Your Success, are free for you. 12 pages to read and share with family members, friends, coworkers, anybody you care about. Give them a chance to be free. 50,000 reward if anybody can show anything wrong in here. 12 pages, easy to read, big print. Okay? So we'll mail them to you at no cost to you to get the truth out there to American people. Remember this, brothers and sisters. It was no accident that you came across this video. You wanted to live free. And guess what? You got it by coming across Freedom Law School. It's there in your hand. You just gotta grab it. But the trick is for you to seek the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Seek the truth by going to freedomlawschool.org. And listen to our videos as you drive around at lunch and dinner. Watch it, and you're going to go, oh, wow, I am free. Just like you see Neo in the movie Matrix. He unplugs and says, I know Kung Fu. You'll know real Kung Fu, and you'll be free. No more 1040 filing income tax confession forms. No more paying income tax. You need your hard-earned money for you and your family. And if you choose, be part of the Restore Freedom Plan to fund Restore Freedom, electing good statesmen that believe in the Constitution like Thomas Massey, like Ron Paul. Support freedom truth-telling media that tells you the truth. And with all that, we can have you be free and America be free once again. All right, brothers and sisters, we're going to go to your questions now. All right, let's get this set up. We have two people waiting to get their questions answered. The first one is from area code 912. The second one is from area code 570. Remember, before you ask your question, to please give me first your first name only for privacy. How you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please. So let's go to 912 area code caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Mr. Peymon, my name is James.
Get close to the microphone. I can barely hear you. Your name is what?
James. Can you hear me?
Yes, better. Yes, go ahead, James.
Okay. Yes, I just heard about you. Wish I would have heard about you 30 years ago. Would have saved me a lot of heartache.
But how did you hear about us? Where? What source? What source?
Well, for the last few years, I've heard about how there's some type of, people would say, loophole, this, that you don't need to file taxes. Of course, I never knew where to go at the time. I heard it, people said this and that. Everybody, as you know, living in fear. So people are like, just file your taxes, file your taxes. Mm-hmm. And, but recently I was listening to Stu Peters. He mentioned your website, I think last Thursday or Friday. So I went to your website, started looking into it, listened to a lot more of your interviews. One with, the one that was really enlightening to me was the one with the health ranger, Mike Adams. Mm-hmm. He asked some, questions that I would have asked, and I really appreciated that. But I see that even kind of funny, because even people like Mike Adams and others, they find it very intriguing, but are they applying it? That's another story. It's kind of funny. There's the, kind of so-called freedom fighters, but they may not be so interested in kind of stepping out, but they may think on a limb, to do what you are showing. But I realize it's not on a limb. This is the right thing to do. This is the proper thing to do. If you tell somebody you're not paying taxes, they look at you like you're committing a sin, and it's just, it's incredible. After seeing, hearing what you have to say, and how you say it, and just the whole thing, it's really, really refreshing, really a beautiful thing to me. And, it's just amazing. It's just, it's, I don't know how to say it exactly, but it's like there's, someday I would love to, there's a story here. I'm not going to get into the whole thing.
Yeah, well, so what's your question, James? We got people waiting, my friend. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. The question, it's the separate issue from all that, but it kind of ties together. So my wife and I have not filed personal income taxes. I'm a business owner. Somebody else is supposed to be doing it for me, which they didn't do, which I'm glad now. But since we have not filed for the last several years, somebody else fraudulently filed.
Yay! He's already been freed for several years. Yeah. Good for you. Okay.
Yeah, right. And so somebody else filed fraudulently, and then 2 days ago, I think I might have been on your website, and I saw a code coming on my phone from a tax company, giving the 6-digit code. So somebody else was evidently trying to get into my account, probably trying to do something fraudulently. So my question is, for my wife, since somebody else filed on her behalf, it's like, you got two criminals. You got the IRS, and then you got the other criminals trying to get money from the IRS. So in our case, what would you recommend we do? Just leave it alone and let them fight it out amongst each other? Or it's eventually seemingly going to come
Sure, let me tell you why. Let me tell you, because before the IRS can take your money by law, they must send you a letter, which is a collection due process opportunity letter. In this letter, they give you 30 days to ask for a hearing before the IRS can levy your bank account, paycheck, or anything else of you. No collection until that 30-day passes. You ask for a hearing at that time, and guess what? There'll be no collection. And in that collection due process hearing, you will be able to challenge the IRS, say, hey, you must verify that all the legal steps and procedures has been followed. And whatever you got, that phony tax return is not by me. That's not my signature. They must go and prove it is your signature. You filed it, and they can't because it's fraud. And the whole thing will just go away at that time. So don't sweat it. All these letters you're going to get about you owe the money are useless and legally meaningless. Just wait for that letter called the final notice of intent to levy and notice of your right to a hearing. You ask for hearing at the time and you'll be fine. Okay? Okay. Anything else?
All right, we'll do that. I've got 100 other questions. I'm not going to ask them now. I'll let the other caller ask that question.
Well, I'll tell you what. Then if you want, I'm going to take the other people's questions, and I'll come back to get more of your questions answered after having answered other people who are waiting first. Does that sound okay with you?
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Thanks.
So hang in there. You're going to stay throughout. You're going to enjoy the question and answers. I'll come back to James at area code 912, my friend, okay?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Before a 570 caller, I'm going to list on here. We have a call from area code 949. Then a call from area code 323. And then another caller from area code 909. A bunch of Californians are calling. Okay. And that's where I was from. All right. 570 area code caller. Give me your first name, how you heard about us, and then your question, please.
My name is Dennis.
Dennis, get close to the microphone, please.
Dennis Klein.
Okay. And how did you hear about us, Dennis?
I got to congratulate you because you're doing right. I stopped filing taxes in 1999. I used the same method you use with every shift zero return. I created a tax statement, which is 264 pages. I worked for the New York City Transit. I made them stop taking taxes on my wages. I took them to court. And when I filed my tax statement, I got my full refund in 2 years, and I haven't filed a 1040 for 27 years. You're doing a great job, and like I said, we're both on the same page. We have different methods, but it works. People are afraid of the IRS because they don't know the law. And all I'm saying is, you're a great guy for doing what you're doing, and keep up the effort. But I have succeeded in beating the IRS. And keep up the fight.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any questions or that? You just want to share that? That's all?
My question is, what percentage do you think people are going to wake up this year because of the situation to find out that they've been lied to since 1913? What percentage do you think people are going to wake up?
Well, the founding fathers were only 3% of the population. 3% of the population back in 1776 era was active in the revolution. 3% of 330 million people is about 10 million. So if we get 10 million people woken up, we already won to take action. And the word of mouth will get out there. So, but I'm telling you, I believe we're really getting in there because between the communist Democrats who want to lock down as a dictator, corona lockdowns, vaccine mandates, okay, men and women's bathrooms, and surgeries, mutilation on children for the sex change phony thing, censorship, open borders, all that. And now we got the war, completely unnecessary war in Iran. Iran was no imminent threat whatsoever to America. And an Epstein gang cover-up by both parties that's been going on. These people are pedophiles. Some of them did terrible things to even under 12-year-old children. I can't even say the stuff they did. And nobody's been, except Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, been charged because of all the powerful people that own the federal government, okay? So it's just coming out. More and more people are waking up right now that back then, when you and I were talking in the 1990s, Dennis, Americans were asleep. That trusted their government. But I believe the Goliath is waking up. The Goliath, the Disney cartoon, he fell asleep and his freedoms were taken away. He was tied down by little people. Well, that's where they are. We can take and we will take our country back, my friend. So thank you for that, for good, kind words of wisdom that for over 20 years you haven't filed income tax, for 25 years and you're free walking along. So thank you, Dennis. Appreciate you, brother. Well, let's go to the next callers. We got a lot of calls tonight. Hold on. We got 949 area code, 233 area code, 909 area code caller, 940 area code caller, 240, and then 208. So listen, folks, you got to make your questions quick, okay? We got more event, 208, and then 352 area code. Get your questions quick, because I don't want to make everybody wait any more than they have to. So let's go to 949 area code caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about us, and then your question, please.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. My name is Chris, And I first heard about you in the middle of 24 on the Redacted podcast, and I've been listening since then.
Very good.
So my question is...
Can you speak up, by the way? We can barely hear you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. How about that? Is that a little bit better?
Much better. Please go continue, huh?
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if you heard, so my name is Chris, and I found you on Redacted in the middle of 24. Mm-hmm. And so I went through the website and I followed your steps, and I filled out the paperwork and sent that to the congressman at the beginning of last year. And so my question is that do I need to fill out that paperwork each year? And then my second question, similar, is I'm going to be changing jobs. Would I need to send the paperwork again when I change jobs?
Nope. One time you asked a question of your Congress members that work for you. They write the federal laws. Hey, here's a law from U.S. government's official legal websites, quoted and attached. If I'm wrong, show me. I'll pay my fair share of taxes. When none of them can show it to you, that's it. You know the truth. You don't need to repeat it.
Okay.
You're free the rest of your life. Okay?
Okay, that was my question. I really appreciate everything you do. I've been talking to some friends and trying to get them to listen to you. Haven't had luck yet, but I will keep trying.
Nope. Listen, call us. We'll send you our Restore Freedom brochures or fast track your success. Same thing outside is different. That's all. 12 pages. Give it to your friends. Give them a chance. Sometimes that's what they need. Something to hold on to in the hand to read. So thanks for calling, Chris. Let's go to area code 323 caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Peymon, it's Adam Wagner, William Wagner's son from On Second Thought Television. How are you?
Very good, my friend. Thank you. How can I help you?
Long time. 20 years ago, we saw you with Joe Bannister and William Rodriguez. You're a great guy, man. God bless you, brother. Keep going.
Thank you.
I'm ready to be a non-filer this year. Finally, talked to Erwin Schiff many years ago. He just said, turn yourself into a non-filer. I said, how do I do that? Erwin said, just stop filing. And so I'm finally ready to do that. But I was self-employed for a while. I paid $987 a few years ago. Do you have instructions on your website on how I can demand a refund from the $900 I did not owe, but I paid them anyways?
No, I don't do that. No. I don't chase the money that's gone because oftentimes they ignore you, they don't give it to you, or they come after you with penalties, $5,000 penalty and come after you. No. Sometimes they give you a refund, they do, but no, it's not worth the risk. It's better to focus from here onwards. Adam, no more filing, no more paying, just be free from here forward, okay?
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling, Adam. 909 area code caller, you are next. Is he here? 909 caller. I think he left, didn't he? Is he there? No, he left, I think. So we got the 940 area code caller. He's there. Okay. 940 area code caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Peymon, this is Alicia, and I heard about you through a friend. And I've actually already spoken with y'all. I've had a consultation, and I've already signed up for a Restore Freedom plan and spoke with some people who are just waiting on my payment to get that initiated. Mm-hmm. But I've had a few different opinions on this, so someone actually from your office suggested I call you and ask you about this. Long story short, just like the last caller,
hold on. Listen, Alicia, as a Restore Freedom Plan member, you don't need to do this. As a Restore Freedom Plan member, you get unlimited consultation with my people. If they're going to handle grade 1, they're going to grade 2, they can handle a question. Then it comes to me, myself, privately. You don't need to ask your question here. That's a wonderful benefit of this Restore Freedom Plan. But since you already called in here, if you don't mind me discussing here your question, I'll be happy to address it for you right now.
Okay. The only reason I want to talk to you right now is because it's time sensitive, and I have that you're still waiting on my payment. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why I called. Mm-hmm. But we had followed the zero returns, unfortunately, the Pete Hendrickson model, and did get a refund one year, but then got a frivolous return penalty and already have a balance from 1 year. But the frivolous return penalty, they recently sent a CP 504 about that, saying they were going to levy our assets. And obviously you can't cover, the years that I've already filed through the Restore Freedom Plan, and we haven't filed for 2025 going forward. Mm-hmm. My question is, I've had various answers to this question, so I want to ask you, is this worth discharging, paying a private person? I have someone who isn't like a normal tax relief person, a private person to discharge that debt for us. Like, we have to pay them, but to discharge that debt for us and then just move forward without filing under y'all's plan going forward? Or is there another route to not discharging that debt? And because of the next step will be a CDP hearing notice.
Right. You could not so-called discharge the debt. You must pay it or not pay it. They may or may not come after the money. What you heard about discharging the debt is baseless legal theories, patriot mythologies, worse than a Pete Henningsen zero return that you filed. So it is what it is.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Okay, I did a video on topic of zero returns. Did other videos doing patriot mythologies. Don't do it. Okay, it is what it is, but no, you cannot discharge it at all. Okay?
Well, okay. I mean, what will happen with the CDP, like with a hearing and all this other stuff, and I understand it could or could not happen, but they still could, levy or place a lien or anything like that. That's my concern. It's either pay up or ignore it, sounds like.
Well, how much does the IRS claim you owe them?
How much is what? I'm sorry?
How much does the IRS at this time claim that you owe them?
Well, with the $10,000 frivolous return penalty, it's about $46,000.
How much?
$46,000.
Okay, $46,000. Well, here's the reality. IRS is so broken that they are not coming after people that owe them money in anywhere like what they used to. I'm going to show you on my screen. The IRS used to come after, here we go. Back in 2011, they did 3.7 million forced levies or collection on people's bank accounts and paychecks. By 2021, it crashed to over $300,000, a 90% drop. Okay? So IRS doesn't automatically come take your money like you think they do, okay? I would save that money, wait for a collection due process hearing. You might be able to do something there. But it is what it is. Rather than trying to fix it with some baseless legal theories, just leave it alone. It might die off. After 10 years, it'll expire, the tax, gone. Poof. That could happen. Okay? And also, they may give you a case, this $40,000, to a toothless private collection agency that can only write letters to you begging for money. They cannot levy your bank account or paycheck or anything by force. So that's the best option available for you.
So the discharging the debt is kind of completely, that's not a good idea at all.
It's garbage. It's worse. It's a bad idea. It can get you in trouble. People go to prison for doing that kind of nonsense. Wesley Snipes, the actor that went to prison, the black actor, that's what got him in trouble. He did that kind of garbage. He owed the IRS almost $2 million. He wrote his phony site draft like a check to discharge the debt he had to the IRS and gave me the refund for the rest. That's what he did. You want to follow his footsteps? Okay. Whoever told you about that nonsense, tell him stop that nonsense.
It was actually a group that was shared through Freedom Law School social media page.
Do me a favor, call tomorrow. I want to see who that is. I'm going to fix that on our website. I don't think so.
I've told them already. I've told them, but I'll tell them again. And I do have follow-up questions about that, but I'll call once.
We don't refer to anybody that does patriot mythology at all, so thanks for bring it to my attention. I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, I saw it through y'all and followed down that rabbit trail. I kind of thought it was legit because it was shared by y'all, but I'm really glad you told me that. So thank you, and I have follow-up questions, but I'll wait till our payment is in. Now that you answered that for me, that's what's important for the time.
Yeah, you can ask questions anytime. Let me get these other guys who are not members. I'm going to try to help them as much as I can. We can take care of you when your payment comes in next week personally as necessary. Okay, Alicia?
Okay. Thanks, Peymon.
You're welcome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take
All
care.
right. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, let's see. We got 248 area code caller, 208-352, and then 909. Okay, another 909 area code caller we got. Okay. All right. Let's go to 240 area code caller. Please give me your first name. I heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, speak up, please.
Hi. My name is spelled N-T-S-C-H. Seth. I'm calling from Maryland. I heard you through social media. And I have just one question for you. I haven't been paying my taxes a while now, so it's going to be almost a while. It's 10 years. I lost another job because I refused to take the COVID vaccine. I'm trying to get a new job right now, but the problem is I lost my clearance. Right now, filing for most of my jobs are clearance jobs. So they always ask me if I've been paying my taxes, which I say no, and I don't. So now the question is, what do I put on there? Since I never sent any letters to anybody, I just did not pay them. But they were taking it out of my paycheck anyway. So I did not file, I did not file, but they were taking it out of my paycheck, so I never ever filed every year. I just take it. Sometimes I even allow them to take more, like I'll put an extra, like $200 every time. Because I was scared. I just, didn't want to owe. I was just doing that. But I never filed. So how do I address the clearance, seeking for clearance job?
I don't know. I have to see the paperwork that asking you for that clearance for the tax return, then we can go from there. Are you trying to get a job that's related to working for the federal government?
Yes.
Okay. They typically do that. You may not be able to get that job. They may lose on your talents, possibly, because they insist on you being a slave. You say, I'm not a slave, so I may not be able to do anything about that. You may choose to give your talents to some other job besides helping the swamp. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So,
thank you.
But I look at the form. We may be able to do something about it, but maybe not, because maybe that's just a policy. Hey, we don't want to hire anybody that's not a good little slave like the rest of us. I mean, if they want to be a communist, they can be a communist. You don't have to be like them if you don't want to. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Bill.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend. Thanks for calling. 208 area code caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Peymon. Jim here. Just a Google search found you. Thanks so much for what you're doing. Hey, question for you. I've got a business, and, if I sell my business in the future here, I know when people talk to you about buying your business, they're going to ask you for your tax returns. How do you recommend I respond to them if I say I don't have tax returns for my business?
What you can do is you can have your certified public accountant every year keep the copy of your books, okay? That shows how much are your receipts, how much are your expenses, and how much are your net profits. That's how it was done in America in 1800s. That's how it was done in America in the early 1900s also. It was after World War II that filing a 10 for income tax confession form started becoming routine by most people. Okay, so, and then keep a copy of bank records as well to show them, look, this is not made up. This is my gross receipts, my bank deposits shows it also. Check it out for yourself. And here, look at my major categories of expenses. How much my rent is, cost of goods sold from these vendors, I have the receipts, everything, check it out. It does not have to be a tax return. If they want to buy a business, and let me tell you something else about that. Myself, I had a business with a partner back in 1980s. And then a lady came to us. She wanted to buy our business. And we sold it to her. She never asked for a tax return from us at all. All she wanted was a business that was profitable. And she got one. In fact, that business, she sold it to somebody else, is still around. Okay, in Long Beach, California. So there's not a requirement. You have to have a tax return to sell your business. The buyer wants a good business with good income, track record, and success. The fact that you've been around for how many years now, Jim?
Yeah.
The fact that you've been around for several years means a lot. The business we sold, I think we built it up in just about 2.5 years. Pretty new. But 90% of businesses go broke within the first 2 years. We were on the 10% that made it through. We actually started to make more and more good money, you know. So you don't need to worry about that at all. You'll be fine. Any other questions, Jim?
The buyer, though, usually uses SBA financing, and the bank wants those documents. How does the buyer come to their lender and say, yo, the seller doesn't have those documents? Then the lender says, well, we're not going to lend.
Well, the lady that bought the business from us didn't do that. Most businesses are bought not by going through government guaranteeing small business administration loans. Most businesses are sold without that bureaucracy, cumbersome, inefficient, convoluted, takes a long time, small business administration loan, okay? Especially small businesses. No. Some cash buyer will come to you, will buy you cash, or maybe he or she will give you 50% down payment, and then you take the rest maybe in the next 5-year payment type of thing. In fact, I know that's what my partner did when we got it that way. He said, I don't care if I get paid in a couple of years. If I get the money right now, I would just put it in the bank. So you can give it to me on a regular basis, because if you don't, we'll take the business back. So you'll be fine there too. Okay?
So you just can't work with the seller that's using SBA. Yeah. You just have to find someone to cash.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
So final question, just life insurance, you know, if you pull out too much through dividends, right, it becomes a MEC, right, a modified endowment, then it becomes taxed like another investment vehicle. That doesn't apply to you, though, right, if you don't submit federal taxes, correct?
Correct.
So you don't have to worry about the MEC issue with life insurance policies, which is like a huge issue for asset, you know, people.
Do you have one of those life insurance policies?
Yeah, whole life, yeah.
How much the face amount? How old are you?
The base amount?
Yeah.
I'd have to check. I don't know right off the top of my head.
About.
My main concern, though, is
how much a monthly payment or yearly payment, how much the face amount?
Oh, I see. The premium. Yeah, it's like $800 a month.
Okay. And how much is life insurance?
It's like, there's a death benefit, and so we're just accruing the cash reserve.
Gotcha.
For the surrender cash amount.
All right, Jim, let me tell you something. You were ripped off, my friend. I'm sorry to tell you that. And these cash value savings, universal type whole life policies are one of the biggest, oldest scams around. Back in early 20s, for 6 years, what I did I replaced these rip-off savings type policies, whole life, universal life, and all that, with buy simple term life insurance and invest the difference. How old are you, Jim?
35.
35 years old, yeah. And yeah, wife and children, I assume?
Wife, kids on the way soon. All in good time.
Okay. You probably need, I would say, let's say $1 million of life insurance. You get a 10-year.
Yeah, we got term.
Good. That's all you need. That's all you need, because what these companies do by combining insurance with savings, you don't get to see how much you're really paying for insurance. They jack up the insurance rate.
Buy term, invest the difference.
Yeah, buy term, invest the difference. You already know that then. They rip you off.
Oh, yeah.
Get it out,
familiar.
buy term, invest the difference. There you go. That's what it is for Primerica. It's the greatest thing Primerica did for America is expose these scams. So get it out, do what you want with it. Okay?
I appreciate it. Thanks, Peymon. I appreciate it.
You're a smart guy, my man. Why don't you buy term, invest the difference on your own already? Why should them scam you with that fancy schmancy universal life or whole life, all this extra interest rate? This, that, they say that's all. That's what they sell it to you, because they make a lot of money off of you to rip you off. That's what sells it to you.
The infinite banking stuff with the permanent whole life. So I'm trying to figure that out, if that's the way to go or not. But I do have terms, so at least I got that covered.
All you need. Your car insurance is term, pure insurance. Health insurance is pure insurance. Your property insurance and your home insurance is pure term, no savings. That's real insurance. The savings element is to charge you a lot more than you could have invested someplace else with a far better rate of return. They get to rip you off and scam you. So sorry about that, Jim, but thanks for calling, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Peymon.
You're welcome, my friend. Let's go to area code 352 caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Yeah, my name is Lanny, and I found you on social media about, 4 or 5 years ago. And I've been a non-taxpayer. I've been a non-filer for about the past 15 years. And today I received from the IRS a CP-59 notice. They're wanting me to file a 1040 tax return for the year 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So what should I do about that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Okay, I'll bring it up on the screen for you. Okay, we have a page on our website called The Progression of the Letters the IRS Sends Out. Okay, and here...
Say what now?
We have on our website.
I'm sorry.
I have a page called The Progression of the Letters IRS Sends Out to non-filers. Okay? And the first letter they send out is one of these letters you're describing. Request for tax returns. Okay? These are toothless IRS letters sent out by the computer in mass to 100,000 people at a time, perhaps. I don't know. No IRS agent send it to you. No IRS employee is waiting for your response. No IRS employee will contact you or start an investigation of you if you do not respond to these letters, which are not even signed by anybody. So you can simply
I realize
trash can it. You're just fine.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much, sir. You're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, no problem. Remember, folks, if you cannot find these things on our website, call us at 813-444-4800, and my people will guide you to find answers at freedomlawschool.org for free. All right?
Cool. Thank you, Peymon. Thank you very much, sir.
You are most welcome, Lanny. Now we got, I think we're down to 925 area code caller. And then we have a caller from area code 503. And then we had the first caller we're going to come back to, I think, wasn't it? We had a caller early. We're going to come back to that caller area code. I think it was James, 912. We'll come back to him later on. Okay. 925 area code caller. Please give me your first name. How you heard about us? Wait a minute. We have a 352 area code caller, don't we? Yeah, I got to get the 352. Yeah. No, it's not there? It's not the 352 area code caller? Okay, all right. So which caller we got right now? 925. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. What is your first name? How you heard about us? And then your question, please.
My name is Dan. I heard about you through a friend of mine years ago, but never. He got into some trouble, I guess, and he chickened out. He was, I don't know, but I decided to look at it more closely and decided to do your send off your letters and stuff like that. And I'm excited to be here. I've got a couple of questions for you because we've got some major things happening. Just two quick questions. One is about immigration. I talked to Blake the other day. He sent me a letter that had, I guess, a couple, I guess, was going through immigration. And I just want to make sure. I don't know exactly. He sent in a letter. He modified, I guess, what you send off or what we send off to senators and that kind of stuff, and made it made it more personal, basically. And he basically said he didn't have any problems, but I didn't understand if it was both of them that were immigrating or just his wife or what. Do you know any more information about that maybe can help clarify for me what the situation was? I didn't even get the guy's name. I guess I could pull up the email again, but I've been on the phone the last hour trying to get my internet connection so I can, get the phone number and get on this call with you.
I do not know what you and Blake discussed. What about immigration? That's a very vague question. I need you to be a lot more specific, please.
Well, my wife is from another country, and I've always understood that that anyone immigrating, if they were caught not filing for their taxes while they're here, that they could be sent home and whatnot. And
no, it's not true. Stop. Right there. That's not true.
Okay.
Next question. Huh?
No, it's not true?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so based on my belief of that, we have continued to file taxes for her, but I have not. And I haven't done so in several years. But I'm a little bit nervous because now she's, her green card is expiring, and I need to, I'm supposed to send, I'm helping her put together the forms and stuff like that or whatever to get ready to get her citizenship. But I'm just a little bit nervous. According to the letter that I saw, the guys, they didn't have any problem, but I don't know if you don't know what you don't know what I'm talking about. I guess.
I remember now they told me, Blake, about the call you made, and I told them to tell you cannot go based upon unfounded fears and emotions and feelings. You need to give us the form that you think she needs to fill out, who you were told by some lawyer or somebody that she needs to fill out. Let us see the letter, what it is, and then we can answer your question. Okay, without seeing that letter, I have no idea what you are trying to fill out.
Well,
and what the question would be. So get that form to us, because as far as I know, it's not a problem not having a tax return to get her green card renewed or becoming a citizen.
Okay. But like I say, because, she's been a filer, because based on what I believed, we don't, it shouldn't be a problem for her. It's just that they want me to include my information as well. And I'm just going to send, like this guy did, I think, copies of what you sent, we send to the senators as explanation for why I don't. And just, explain that, my wife, she does because we understood that immigration, that people that are immigrating have to, but I do not, and just leave it at that. And, I don't know what else to do.
That should be fine. It might delay things a little bit, but that should be fine. Listen, one thing you may want to do, become a Restore Freedom Plan member. That way we can take a look at what you got here, and a little bit more closer. There'll be a little extra charge for this situation because this is not a tax issue. It's kind of an offshoot about the immigration thing. But I got to look at the paperwork that you're concerned about. Looks like to me, Dan, You just love your wife dearly, which I appreciate. That's great. You want to make sure she doesn't go back. But renewing a green card is not a problem. I know that. Citizenship, I don't think is a problem either. So put out of your head these, I think, I might, I'm not sure, I'm afraid. Well, some people are afraid of cockroaches or
I just
snakes.
don't know. That's the reason why I called. I called because I don't know. That's all.
Well, then you need to know. You need to know. So I'm telling you,
Right.
it's not a problem. It's just all in your head.
But like I say, one of the reasons why I'm nervous is because we waited to the last minute to get this done, and I mean her green card's going to expire, in just a couple of months, and less than just a couple of months actually. And I don't know if there's any way to extend it or anything like that, or what's going to happen if for some reason we don't. I've got to get this paperwork done quickly. I need to do it fast, and I'm just a little bit nervous.
You may
about
want
the
to do a
situation because of
private
that.
one-on-one consultation. Get us the paperwork to look at it closely. You could have said that to us already.
Okay.
Just do a
I have one more
consultation.
quick question
If
for
you call an attorney, if you call the doctor, you don't expect them to answer your question by telephone. Doctor, I got an eye problem. Can you on the phone help me with my eye problem? Hey, lawyer, I got this legal problem. Can you help me on the phone? No. He said, come see me. Let me see your paperwork. Let me examine your body, your eye, before I can see what's going on, what to do about your situation, right? Same thing here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to send it to you. I just didn't know, if you had any insight right off or you remembered this situation that they talked about. Anyway, I have one more quick question for you before I let you go. I did my paperwork, but instead of keeping a copy of the full paperwork, I basically, because I had 3 different things I was sending out to 2 senators and I was sending out to a congressman. What I did is I copied the front page and my signature and something inside of it, whatever, to show that I sent these and to who I sent to, and I got return receipts and I did everything else, but I didn't keep a copy of the original document. And I thought, well, it's the same document. I can just put that with one of the ones that are online. I could just, show that in a court of law. I could show, well, this is what I put on the first page.
Yes,
and
you
this
can
is
do
the
that.
document, and so on and so forth.
Yes, you can do
that. Do I need to redo them again myself?
No, that's fine.
Do you think?
No, that's fine. You got the front page of what you sent.
Okay.
You got the certified stamp. Print out the rest.
Right.
Put it together in one place because it was there. Okay, as long as you got the first page and the last page and a certified mail, you can put the rest of it, put it in the file so you have the whole thing in your file. Scan your computer with the whole thing, okay, and attachments, everything, and then also keep a physical copy in your files, okay?
Yeah, I don't know if I have the first and the last page. I know I do have the signature, and I do have the first page, whatever, where I sent it to. And I guess I could download a copy, I guess, and keep that with my stuff and show that.
Download it again, sign it, keep it in your files. You have the certified mail. You send it out to your congressman on that date. Okay?
Right.
As long as you truthfully said you did that, and you necessarily will say it under oath again in a court of law, it's good that you have it. It would have been better if you have it, but you can fix it up that way. You'll be fine.
Okay. All right. So just print out one copy without anything on it, basically, and show the papers that I put on the front, like I was thinking of doing with the signature.
No, I don't mean what you show it. No, I told you. Print it out now again. Sign it again. Make it part of your file.
Okay. Okay.
This is what I mailed out. The certified receipt showed mailing. This is what I mailed. What did you mail? What was it? You'd have a copy of what you mailed. You just reprint it and sign it again. Keep it in your files.
Have you changed the editions recently?
No,
or
that's
whatever?
one
Is it the
reason.
same thing?
Some people wanted me to change it, and I told some other people, no. One of my paralegals wants to change it. I said, why? It's fine the way it is. Doesn't need to be added mail or changed. It's good. It will stay this way for a long, 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 long time. It's adequate enough.
Okay. Good. I will go ahead and print it out and get that done.
Okay.
So I've got it with me.
Okay.
Should I put one of the senators on the front, whatever, and I don't know, like that? Or
I don't know which front of what. Look, if you have a certified slip, you mailed it out to them. You can, and you that's a fact, that's a truth. You can put the letters together with a certified slip. That's it. It's that simple. You did it or not. If you did it, print it out, sign it, keep it in your files again. That's it.
I did, and I have the receipt.
Okay, that's good. Then you're good.
Want to know.
Print it out.
Okay, so just print out the form. I don't need to write anything in except for my signature and
what do you mean write anything?
Exactly
yes, it needs to be addressed to your house member and senator at that time. If you don't remember who that guy was, look up online.
No, I do.
Okay,
I do. Yeah, I can go online and do that. And that's
yeah,
fine.
and your certified slip has that information. It's on your certified return slip. You have that information.
Yes, I do. So should I do one for each of them, one for each of the two senators, and one for the congressman?
Of course,
correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I just thought maybe, if I had the first page from each of them or whatever, I could just show this is the paper, this is the same paperwork. It goes to, and it goes to,
that was mailed out already.
The one I sent to the congressman.
Okay, Dan.
So just one for each of them.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You got it.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate your patience with me. I will get the information to you and hopefully get these questions answered quickly. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
You got it, Dan. Have a good evening, my friend. Okay, you're most welcome. Let's say we have area code 503 caller, followed by the 217 area code caller. 503 area code caller, please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hi, Peymon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Albert. I think I probably heard about you several years ago, maybe on InfoWars. Certainly have heard and watched some of your interviews on Redacted. And the question that I have actually a few questions. One is I'm in the process right now of trying to get my wife involved in kind of studying up on this and getting her on board. I feel pretty much decided that I want to file my revocation, but I'm trying to get her on board. And so one of my questions is I have not yet filed my 2025 tax return, and it looks like I'll probably be owing somewhere around $2,000, and so I'm wondering, is there any way to get out of filing that return, or since I have not done the revocation for 2025, am I just stuck with having to pay those taxes?
No. Number one, revocation of election you're referring to is a baseless, erroneous legal theory. It is a misunderstanding of the law. You never accepted or chose to be a slave for the rest of your life to now be forced to revoke that election. There was no election in the first place. Understood? So don't go that route. That's baloney. There's nothing to revoke. Number two, you need to go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, and start from there learning the law correctly from step one on the law. Okay? You got to do it correctly and properly, not by the patriot mythology that you heard about. Okay?
Okay.
And then your wife, same thing. Have her start watching with you the 7 steps to free yourself of the IRS. Okay? Watch it with her.
Okay.
You will be educated. And yes, do not file a confession form, the 1040 form with the IRS. Do not put the rope around your neck. That's the worst thing you can do. That's why step 2 is there. Step 2 is don't file a 1040 form. You think that's a safe way to go? It is not. That's what your wife thinks. She needs to think again by watching the videos on the material on step 2 on our website. Okay?
Yeah, and I've been filing taxes since I was 19, so over 20 years, and so I'm at the point where I wish I would have known this a long time ago, but I know it now, and just wanted to know whether I was stuck with, paying my 2025 tax debt, or if I can file, go through this process and just be done with all of this.
Mm-hmm. There's no need to do anything except stop filing, educate yourself on our website, freedomlawschool.org. If you have any questions, call our office at 813-444-4800. Okay?
Okay. The other question I had was, because I'm, like I said, I feel about 95% sure that this is something I'm going to do and join with you guys. And at the current time, I've already this year, just the federal have been taxed like almost $17,000. And so when I kind of got in the last week or two to the point where I realized like this is something I really intend to do, I went into my employer's payroll website and filed for exempt, basically to stop taxes until I get, this all filed and join up. Is there any problem with doing that?
Not if you do it the proper way at Freedom Law School's website.
Okay. And then the only other question is, what is as I went through some of the information, I saw some details about what they call a lock-in letter that you guys have discussed on the website. What are what are the odds that something like that happens these days?
I wish I could give you a clear estimate of that number. Its number's low because vast numbers of our people do not get one. So it's under 10% is my best answer. Whether it's 1% or 3%, I don't know, because, our sample size of our students compared to the whole 80 million non-filers is a very small subsection. So I don't know if I get it above or below average thing. But, that's something that may happen. We're going to be challenging that lock-in scam of the IRS, which is completely illegal, and unconstitutional. We are preparing to challenge that early on this year. That's all I can tell you. I wish I could have better answers for you right now, but I don't. That's the best answer I got. That may happen to some people, but to most people it does not happen.
And if in the case that were something that would happen, how long would I be stuck in that scenario, assuming the laws don't change?
Well, should be only 2 years or so, because we plan to take that issue to court in the coming months. The next couple of months, we're almost done with it. And once we do that, within a couple of years or less, the whole lock-in there should be ruled illegal, unconstitutional, and IRS will not be allowed to do that to anybody else, including you. Okay. That's my plan.
Okay. I think I saw in there somewhere that it's like a 2 or 3 year plan. This is on the, as far as the IRS is concerned, that you basically have to be on good behavior for 2 or 3 years before they would allow you to change your withholding status. Does that sound right?
It's arbitrary. It's changed. It used to be like they want you to follow the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and they go from here forward. Then I heard from somebody, oh no, they won't even lift it. They want you for 3 years of a lock-in letter program and file, and then they take you off of that. Like, what? So it's just a complete cockamamie lawmaking by the executive branch. The executive branch cannot make law. Congress never gave any authority whatsoever for the IRS to do these lock-in letters. It's a cockamamie made-up thing by the IRS. But no one has the interest or wherewithal to challenge them out there except Freedom Law School. So that's why they've gotten away with it since 1980s.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was all the questions I had, and I really appreciate what you're doing.
You're welcome, my friend. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you for being in the fight for freedom. No revocation of election you find. Just study freedomlawschool.org. It'll be there for you, my friend. And call us if you have any questions. Okay, we have one more caller. Thank you for calling, Albert, from area code 217. If anybody else has questions, the number to call is on your screen, 424-552-1299. And then you press 1 on your telephone keypad to get your question answered. Call 424-552-1299. And then you press 1 on your telephone keypad to be added to the queue of people who have questions. 217 area code caller, you're next. Give us your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
What's the number? What's the name?
What is your name? How you heard about us, and then your question, please.
My name's Jack McCormick.
And Jack, please get close to the microphone and tell me how you heard about Freedom Law School, please.
I came across it actually by my doctor, and seeing it on the website of yours. My question is, every time I do something, they find a reason why they can't do it or something. They always come up with a question. Every time I do something with court, I get screwed over. I don't have no confidence in it.
What is your question right now, my friend?
My question is, I've looked at the 7 steps, and all it takes is one thing not done right, and I don't want to get in trouble for not doing it the right way.
Okay.
And I don't know how to go about it.
It's very simple, brother.
Get it the right way.
Look at me. Listen to me. I have not filed and paid federal income taxes, Jack, for over 30 years. IRS has not taken even a single dollar from me. IRS has had me under criminal investigations repeatedly, continuously since 1994. I've never been indicted either. And I've been teaching Americans to do the same for all these decades. So if I'm free and I'm a leader, why are you worried about you? There's too many of you out there. 80 million plus non-filers. People who don't file 1040 tax forms. So what you need to do is to control your feelings with thinking. I can tell you're a sensitive person, which relies on your feelings a lot. And feelings are very good when you relate to people. How they feel, how they react to you, what's going on with them emotionally. You got that gift. People like you tend to not be able to think as clearly because your feelings take over your thoughts and logic and practicality. All I can offer you is to go, let me finish, please. Go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, and study the material that's there. It's there for you for free. That's all I can offer you. So if that doesn't do it for you, I don't know what to say. Because that's all I can do. So go to freedomlawschool.org, educate yourself, watch the videos again and again and again. Rewind them and go back to make sure you understand everything, Jack, before you go to the next slide or next video. All right? And then verify everything for yourself. Do you have any other questions, Jack?
I understand. I went there and done that. I read your things and everything. It just seems like...
Speak up, please. I can barely hear you.
I had video and everything on a lawsuit.
Okay.
And I still lost, even though I had everything in order to do it. And I still got lost.
I have no idea what you mean I still lost. I have no idea your past losses with your past ex-wives, your past friend that ripped you off, or your past IRS stuff. That's irrelevant to me. Okay, got nothing with me. Why are you connecting it with me and what I teach? It's irrelevant. That was your past experience with taxes and your ex-wife or ex, girlfriend. How does that relate to the new wife you got? Or us?
about divorce now because they done took everything away from me.
Okay, so that's them. Got nothing with us. So you got to be careful to not to repeat the past. Just because somebody ripped you off does not mean the next person will rip you off. You got to think better this time. Okay? Educate yourself better this time, and to make sure you understand things fully before you go on. Okay?
I do. I would just like help doing it so that way.
Then if you want, you may want to send for a private one-on-one paid consultation with one of my people who guide you through this process. So that's options available. If you go on a website, on the Get Help, okay, on the top left of the page, on the Get Help, okay, it comes there. You know, you can do for a private paid consultation. So you want to do that, okay? And then one of my people will sit down with you by phone and go through things for you more slowly to make sure you understand everything fully before you're going forward.
Thank you for your response, and I will do that.
You're welcome, Jack. By the way, your doctor told you about us?
Yes.
Is he a Restore Freedom Plan member?
Yes.
Well, that's a good doctor. He knows the truth.
Yes, he is. Very good doctor.
Very good doctor, yeah. Tell him Peymon said hello, and I want to thank him for speaking up and telling people like you. Ask him to call us, and we'll mail him a copy of our Restore Freedom brochures. Does he have these in his office lobby waiting for people like you to pick up?
Yes, I talk to him all the time about this.
Ask him to call us. We'll mail him these Restore Freedom brochures and Fast Track Your Success brochures that both to show you that no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income and payroll taxes for free. So more people that come to this practice have the opportunity to live a free life. All right? Thank you for your call, Jack. I appreciate you, my friend. We have actually two more callers I neglected to get to. I'm sorry about that. We have a call from area code 352 we got to get to, and another one from area code 925, I think. Okay? So let's get to 352 caller. Oh, no, that was Lenny. We got to Lenny, I think. Yeah, we did. How about the 925 area code caller? Did we answer his question? Let me see. 925 area code caller. I don't think we did get to him, did we? We did? Okay. So we can go back to the very first caller that we had. Area code 912, James. He had some questions, but we're going to get back to him. So let's go to James, area code 912. You're live, James, one more time with me, my friend. What other questions do you have?
Mr. Peymon, I want to say you are an incredibly patient individual. Really appreciate you for everything that you do.
Thank you.
The question is, and I want to make it short. I know everybody needs to go. I'll make it short and sweet so that we can go to the next thing. I'm ready to do the Restore Freedom Plan. I have the numbers punched in, getting ready to continue. And so my only question is, once I do this, would I be able to have a short audience with you in the near future?
Yes. Any Restore Freedom Plan member, as necessary, can have me. There's only one of me. So what I've done is I've trained other people that can do a lot of what I know already. My people that answer phone calls, when you call our office, they have a lot of answer information as well for you. Yeah. So if the people on the phone cannot answer you, I have the more trained people I got, they answer questions, and then myself. But I will tell you this, James. We tend to be busy right now until about April 20th, end of April.
Okay.
Then in summertime is our slow season. So is November our slowest month. So during the slower months, yes, I'm more available to meet one-on-one with our students like you by phone as well if you need me. If it's urgent, of course, important, we'll make the time if I'm the only one that can answer your questions. But during other times when it's slower, I love to get to know one of our students when I have a chance on a little bit more one-on-one basis also, because I was where you were. And I want to talk to the guy out there, that Ed Griffin, for example, who wrote the Creature from Jekyll Island, who's 93. He's a friend of mine still after 26 years, So I do want to get with you, but let's do it in a slower season and during busy season. Let my people help you. Right now, if they need to get my involvement, they'll get me involved for you as well.
I appreciate that, and I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to call tomorrow. We do have some urgent matters, but I will, go over it with them, and we'll go from there. But I again, just in closing, really appreciate everything that you do. It's refreshing. It's really, like a light shone on, and I'm sure a lot of the other callers, if not all of them, can relate that it's, we've just been so brainwashed as Americans, thinking that there's a patriotic duty to get ripped off. It's
patriotic duty to be a slave. Yeah, they've done a very good job of that. You're right about that. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you, who did you speak with at Freedom Law School, James? Who did answer your phone call when you called?
I think it was the gentleman who you mentioned a few moments ago. I can't remember his name right now, but I believe it was the gentleman that you mentioned, who a few of the other callers back mentioned.
I have not mentioned any of my people's names tonight. I usually don't do that, but it was a man. Okay.
Yes, it was a man. It was no. I thought that a few callers back then mentioned that they called and spoke to a gentleman on the line, and I thought the name was mentioned.
That's okay. No name was mentioned, but that's okay. I just thought you might remember, who it was. And George, Cam, Russell, Maverick. We got several people here. Okay, no problem. Yeah. But call them tomorrow; they'll take care of you. Okay.
Absolutely will.
All right, my friend. Thank you for calling. Right. Okay, the number is on the screen. If you have a question, 424-552-1299 and press 1. Meanwhile, I will go to your questions that you sent online. Up to 10 pages. You have some orange juice from the fridge, please, by the way. I have it up there. And I'll get your questions that people send in. Up to 10 pages, I'll review at no charge for you guys, okay? So you can send in up to 10 pages. I'll review it here and answer your questions, okay? So this one is from Diana Harshberger, Congresswoman, wrote to one of our students in Tennessee in March 2026. This is a several-page letter that they sent to you, okay? And dear Mr. So-and-so, thank you for writing to Congresswoman Diana Harshberger and for sharing the materials outlining the legal argument that the federal income taxes apply only to federal or territorial employment. Our office carefully reviewed the information you provided and examined the legal claims described in those materials. Based on that review, it is important to note that these arguments have been raised many times in federal courts by individuals seeking to challenge the validity or applicability of federal employment taxes. Okay, well, right off the bat, they're not addressing anything we're saying, okay, at all. They're saying, oh, look at these some court cases up there. I'm not going to do any thinking, research. I'm throwing out there some whatever court case might be out there. In every instance where the courts have squarely considered these claims, they have been rejected, okay? So that's the route they're taking. Oh, we're going to hide. Basically, they're going to hide behind the skirt of some low-level judge, okay? But the people that did not make our arguments necessarily, okay? For your reference, I'm going to skip a couple of paragraphs, okay? Also, it is also important to emphasize that these determinations come from federal judges interpreting the law, not from the Internal Revenue Service. Okay, I understand that. But listen, Diana Harshberger, you are the lawmaker. You are the source of law, Diana, not the courts, and not the IRS. The courts interpret the law that you wrote, Diana Harshberger of Tennessee. That's why we write to you. You're supposed to represent the American people. Okay? You can tell us if we're wrong, our petition is wrong, and do so. Okay? And you're not doing that. So what she does, she attaches Appendix A, federal court rulings on claims that federal employment taxes apply only to federal or territorial employment. Well, we're talking about income taxes and employment taxes. And these appendixes she's got basically, guess what? This is stuff she got from the IRS's website. These court cases that are here, she got from IRS's website. And they just throw the name of the court case that the IRS does. The court case says this thing. That's all they do. What did the person say? What the person argued. Okay, what was it about? They don't say. Page after page of just here's a court section. Okay, so they're not addressing your questions. They're not doing their own independent investigations as they should. In fact, we have that on our website. Let me show you. We did that for on our website. Let me go on step 5. I'll show you. We have question of authority, step 4, right? Let's go in there. And we have the head of the U.S. Senate Finance Committee, who's in charge of the IRS, Chuck Grassley. Okay? He responded to our letters. One of his people did. Okay, Republican from some farm country, Iowa. Okay, and so we have some of these cases. Chuck Grassley responded to us, phony letter. Ed Grassley, phony letter. Mike Crapo, phony letter. Okay, Tammy Duckworth, phony letter. Phony how? They don't address anything we say. They don't show what we're wrong by any U.S. Supreme Court cases, laws published by Congress, U.S. Constitution, or even U.S. Treasury regulations. Okay? So here's the letter from Grassley. Okay? They don't address anything, any of the court cases, laws we have attached to our letters. They typically do this thing. Here it is. Just a one-page letter by this phony Chuck Grassley computer-generated letter, signed signature. That's all. June 24th, 2022. And what does Chuck Grassley do? He's still a senator out there from Iowa. He gives us a link to IRS's website right there in blue. Well, hello? You're not doing your own investigation. You're just repeating parroting the line of the IRS on the IRS's website. Okay? So what we did on that, we wrote back to Chuck Grassley and pointed out, hey, Chucky, you're not responding to anything we said. You're not addressing anything we said. Okay? That's why we have these things. Okay? We need, note to Mr. Cummings, assistant of Grassley, we need Grassley himself to read and respond to his letter and sign his response with his own hand. Okay? Actually give us a on-point response to the legal citations we have in our paperwork. Okay? So anyhow, so I hope that helps you with that, my friend. Thank you for sending that in. We have another question we have from Ray. Please, could you talk about the use of AI by the IRS to make up for the reduced human workforce and how this impacts people who do not file taxes? Could we expect more letters in the mail due to artificial intelligence? What other actions might we expect as a result of using AI to come after people? Well, here's the answer. IRS cannot incorporate AI. You guys heard the Doge guy. I played it tonight. What did he say? This guy right here. That the IRS has about over 100 different databases that all have their own independent information. They're not harmonized. They're not one. They're just a bunch of mishmash of information. Okay? They have like 10 people or 50 people running one actual computer programmer. Okay? This is the Doge expert government efficiency that IRS called in to help him. That's what he says he found out about the IRS. So all this stuff about AI is just propaganda lies to make you afraid of this bigaboo called the IRS, to keep brainwashing you like Wizard of Oz to be afraid of the IRS. Wah! AI will get you. With AI, IRS can do amazing things. IRS is still running in 1960s computer programs, COBOL, and assembly language. Yes, I remember back in 1979 playing cards with my neighbor. I had 780 at college level COBOL, and he said, "No, I don't do COBOL. That's new. I do assembly language. That was older, basic." IRS is still running on assembly language and COBOL. They cannot combine that with any modern technology at all. For decades, they've tried that, and they have failed repeatedly. You see that on our website. In step 3, realize the IRS operates on deception and bluff. Watch this 9-minute video right there. Then you go inside. Step 3. When you go down step 3, scroll down to get to 3. IRS and its computer systems have been slowly falling apart since the 1980s. Yes. And there's an article, and you can click on that on the bottom left. 40 years of failure. You click on that, and here it is. This article is from Americans for Tax Reform, okay? That came out in March 2022. Okay? 40 years of failure. Okay? IRS unable to fix computer system. And the list here, from 1982, okay, from mainstream sources like New York Times, that IRS continues to fail to update its computer. Here's another one in 85 from Time magazine. Another one in 1985 from Washington Post. Another one in 1985 from New York Times. Again, they keep failing to update their computer system. Now they can't do it. Just like the last leader of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, trying to fix communism in Soviet Union. That was in mid-80s he tried that. But since, about 1920, when Russia and Soviet Union was crushed, okay, since that time, for about 60 years, that communist system was entrenched with 2 generations of human people coming and going. By the time Gorbachev came to be, he could not improve or fix the communist system. The whole thing fell apart from within. And that is what's going on right now with the IRS. The IRS in its present form, pretending it's mandatory, started in early 1950s. But right now, it's been over 70 years, 70, since the IRS was that big bigaboo. It's been falling apart since 2011, and it gets worse and worse and worse. Don't worry about AI propaganda, Ray. You'll be just fine. Okay? And you have any questions online? Let's see which one we got there. Let's read that. Okay, Tamara EX4799, what are your thoughts about no more cash and things turning toward stable coins? Would this not make things easier for the IRS? No. The IRS already does not use the W-2, 1099, and K-1 information about how much employers pay people. They don't use it against non-filers. Okay? There's way too much $1 trillion of banking transaction happening every day in America. So there's no way they can use that information at all. Okay? Because it's so confusing where the money comes and goes, what for, personal business. No, they cannot do that. They want you to believe if they choose to come after you, that they'll come and get you. But remember, there's 80 million plus non-filers. People who don't file 1040 income tax forms. They cannot afford, in their eyes, to stop for one ant or for one sheep to shear, like you. That's how they look at you, not me. Them. They look at you as a dumb, ignorant sheep to be sheared like a lamb. I say you're not a sheep. I say you are a lion. You just were deceived. Just like Wizard of Oz. The lion in Wizard of Oz was also deceived to be afraid. And there was no need for him to be afraid. Okay? So that's what I want you guys to understand. You have the power. You just through ignorance. They got the lions. Like you with Wizard of Oz. Be afraid. Not have courage. Okay? So you'll be fine. The IRS doesn't matter. I'd like cash. I recommend cash as much as possible, but it's not necessary for you to be free. Any other questions we got there? Let's see. Okay. Ricaruso 7791 got a letter from the IRS for a few days ago reminding me I haven't filed. I covered that earlier tonight, folks, didn't I? Yes, I did. Let me bring it up for you. We covered that. IRS sends out these dumb computer-generated letters that mean nothing at all. I have it on our website on a page called The Progression of the Letters the IRS sends out to non-filers. And what you got here is one of these dumb letters, okay? Here it is. One copy one. Here's another one. Two copy. We update these, by the way. I'm not sure these are the latest versions, okay? Make sure we got to get with the guys to update it, okay? These letters are sent by computer en masse to thousands and tens of thousands of people at a time. They have no legal meaning at all. They're not required to be sent by the IRS, nor do you have any responsibility to respond to any of these letters. No one signs them. No one's expecting a response from you. No one is waiting for you to respond at all to these IRS letters. They just know you see the vulture on top left of the letter of the IRS, plus the name IRS, you'd be scared to say, IRS found me. IRS gonna get me. I'm afraid. I better call some accountant. Help me. Be a good little boy. I don't want to be in trouble with the IRS. That's all the letter does. It's used to scare you. You can just ignore it. You'll be just fine. Okay. What else we got on there? Okay. God, hand, soul. Says, after thanking me, says, I finally received a response from Mitch McConnell telling me that I have a problem with the IRS to contact them directly. How can I share this with you? Well, like I said, you can send up to 10 pages of any problem you got in letters, okay, to us, and I'll review it here at no charge. You can send it to us by fax, 813, no, What's the fax number? 815-346-2637. Email it to us, questions at freedomlawschool.org, or U.S. mail it to us. Our P.O. Box 10599 in Brooksville, Florida. And make a note, call us. Make sure that it is for the Freedom Hour that we know about people. Put it on the table for me to pick it up and address it for you, and I will go with that for you at the next Freedom Hour. I'll be happy to do so. Okay? Any other questions we got there? So what about Quetzalcoatl Clover says, what about those that have been charged with tax evasion like Martha Stewart? What did she do to fall into that, in your opinion? Oh, that's easy. Martha Stewart filed a 1040 income tax confession form. Yes. And put the rope around her neck. That is what she did. That's a problem. You got to stop filing those 1040 income tax confession forms, brothers and sisters. Okay? It is literally a rope around your neck. Okay? And that's why I keep telling everybody, you got to stop filing those 1040 income tax confession forms, because it is a rope that you put around your neck. Vast majority, over 90% of the people that IRS comes after are those who do file 1040 income tax confession form, like the man you see here in this cartoon. You stop filing that 1040 form, okay? You're going to stop signing and filing with the IRS the 1040 confession form and stating under oath that you owe the IRS money. You got to stop that. Begging the IRS to accept your deduction expenses and credits, and if they don't like it, they can put you in prison like Martha Stewart did. They did. Okay, good question. Deadly Shadow 26 asks, so if one is a W-2 employee, can they still come after for not filing at all, even if you mark exempt? They can come after anybody. Doesn't mean they're going to win. If they come after you, you want property stop withholding on our property like we show on our website, they will not come after you because they will lose if they do that, so they'll rather leave you alone, okay? If you go on our website on the top center right, on the right drop-down menu, you see free yourself from tax withholding, okay? Click on that, tap, and it's done the proper way. Do not go W-4 exempt on your own with a form that your employer gives you. You must do our procedure. You must do your petition to Congress. You must have the laws that we have attached to W-4 form. Go with it. That is your defense. In case the crooks at the IRS and DOJ decide to mess with you, try to put you in prison and say, oh no, this guy can talk about all this. What he did, why he did it. He followed the law. We don't want the jury to see that he followed the law. We cannot win if the jury sees he's followed the law. So let's not bring it up to the jury at all by leaving him alone. So you must do it the right way. Have it for free. This is for free, brother, sisters, at freedomlawschool.org to stop income tax withholding, stealing from your paycheck by your employer. Lanny C. asks, what if one receives a CP-59 notice from the IRS wanting a 1040 tax return for any certain year? I just talked about this twice tonight, folks. Here it is. All these letters. I don't care if it's CP this or CP that. Who cares about these IRS letter numbers? It doesn't matter, folks. Stop being fixated on the letter numbers. They change the letter numbers all the time. It's the substance of the letter that matters, okay? This one is called a message about your 2008 1040. Okay, you then file a Form 1040 tax return, okay? It says, our records show you haven't filed a tax return for the tax year ending December 31, 2005, okay? says, we sent you previous notice informing you of this, but the notice may have been returned as undeliverable or could not be mailed by the United States Postal Service or whatever excuse they got. Oh, they try and say, oh, we didn't get your return. Must be something fell through the cracks. We won't let you think that we don't know that you ignored us. We're going to pretend like you just didn't get it for some reason. Go ahead and file. That's okay. We'll give you more time to be a slave. That's okay. We work with you on that, okay? Doesn't matter. These requests for tax returns by the IRS, no matter what their name is, they are truthless. By law, the IRS must mail you by certified mail and notice a deficiency if they want to come after you. That's here on our progression of the letters IRS sends out. On this page, I have a video that I cover this for 53 minutes, folks. Watch this video. I do this video so you can study them and understand these things and have peace of mind that you want and you deserve to have. Okay? So, here it is. All right, any more questions we have here? Okay. Leo61 says, the IRS codes that were used in the petition pertain to self-employment income tax. What Internal Revenue Code or IRC codes apply to W-2 income tax? How does stuff having federal tax from being taken out of my paycheck? Well, there you go again. I covered for that again and again. I covered this already about income tax withholding. I just covered that. Okay, and then let me go back to it. The code sections that apply to this W-2, look, that's all. Just read the petition, everybody. You got to read our petitions on our website. Okay, that's what they're for. Let me make it for you. The step. Let's see. We have our step 4. I think have it. The petitions. Here we go. Step 4. On our website, you got to read them. All the stuff you want, at least 631, is spelled out in our petitions in step 4. It used to be step 5, now step 4. So here are the petitions: individual income taxes, employment taxes, self-employment taxes, and 1099s. That's the bottom of step 4 page. So click on them, read them. It's all spelled out for you in detail. Now you need a citation, the number of the tax law section, but also it's attached at the back of the petition so you can read it for yourself slowly and understand it for yourself. Any other questions? Okay, let's see. Okay. Ketchum 2367 asks, how can we get our money paid back? I'm sorry. That is a risky proposition to try to get your money back. People try to do zero returns, okay? Like Irwin Schiff did, Lynn Meredith did, Pete Henderson, other people following them doing that stuff. You sometimes get checks by following some type of a zero return. And he has zero income. Sometimes they do work, sometimes they don't. They don't give you no refund, and they come after you for a $5,000 penalty of fines every time you do that, or respond and argue back with them about it. And they may come after you for more money on top of that. Look, just go from here forward. Let the bygones be bygones. Stop income tax withholding from your paycheck. Stop sending in quarterly submitted payments. If you're an employer, stop stealing income and payroll taxes out of your employees' paychecks. That's what you got to do. Estate taxes you don't have to pay. Corporate taxes you don't have to pay if you're not a corporation, it's not from D.C. If the person died, they're not from D.C., they don't have to pay estate tax either. All this gambling, the same thing. It belongs to D.C., not the 50 states. Okay, that's how the law is in the Internal Revenue Code, the Bible of the IRS. You can all read it for yourself on our petitions on our website at freedomlawschool.org. Take advantage of our website. Call us if you have a question. freedomlawschool.org. Call 813-444-4800 if you have further questions and need guidance. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. Punfish says Maverick is a man. Very helpful. I'll let Maverick know, Punfish. He's doing a good job answering people's questions. See, people call, which I help you, you know. The website is a resource that you should use for free, freedomlawschool.org. I think we're done for tonight, aren't we? Okay. All right. All right, brothers, sisters, I love you all. The way I show my love to you is by bringing this information to you that I was in search for in my 20s. I'm 63 now. I was 29 when I heard about this stuff. All this was black hair. I wanted to live free, and I wanted America to be great and free once again like it used to be. And to do that, I figured out, let me speak up. Let me share the message, the truth to you, empower you to live free like I've been experiencing. At the end, no matter what I do, no matter what I say, I cannot make you free. You hold the key to your freedom. Our website is your key. You put on the keyhole and turn to be free. Go to freedomlawschool.org. As you drive around, put your cell phone in your car, let it play, watch the road, listen to what you learn. You're stuck in traffic? Great time to be free. Traffic is great. You got time to study our material to be free. And and now stuck in traffic, instead of being a negative thing, it's a positive thing. Time for you to study on your way to and from work, shopping, working out, whatever you do. At lunch and dinner, play the videos again. This time, watch and listen and really know this stuff. You're verified for yourself like I have done, and you say, I'm free, and you'll be free. Seek the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Have a good night. I'll be back with you next week.